Welcome back to the Let's Get Blunt podcast, where we roll a something sweet, pull up a seat, and get blunt about our healing. My name is Ty Johnson Anderson, and I am your guide to soul liberation. And I know I haven't talked about that a lot, and I think this is the ample time for me to do so. And we're going to get it rolling. As always, we're showing up here in the Golden Earth Botanic Studio. And that's our sponsor. It is an alternative dispensary focused on your spiritual, mind, body, and soul. And healing that with terpenes and CBD and flower tinctures. And as you guys see, it's already here. I'm already in the ethers. My apologies. So at that, I think I'm going to get started because I think the messages are trying to come through while I'm trying to be business minded and all that other stuff. And the messages is like, honey child, shut up. So we're going to get this started, my loves. First of all, how have y'all been? I can assume what's been happening. Y'all are really at this breaking point right now. We've been having some little mental bees, mentee bees, as they like to call it. You know, we've been having a couple of those. Some of us daily, no judgment, right? We're not here to judge. And it's okay because that's where you need to be right now. Right? That is exactly where you need to be right now. You feel delusional because you are. But that's okay because everybody is delusional. We all believe in made up shit because everything's made up. Okay? But the reason you feel delusional is because a lot of what your soul desires does not fit within the systems in which you currently navigate, whatever those look like for you. And so it's like trying to speed off with your parking brake on. Yeah. I'm hoping y'all don't get the flash. I'm infamous for that. I don't. But where were we? Yeah, it's like driving off with the emergency brake on. And so you're doing this lunging and nothing seems to be working. Everything feels so arduous. Everything feels like it's taking too much energy, so much energy. And it is because that is not where you're supposed to be. There are systems. I'm sorry. The ancestors are arriving. I'm hearing thumping. And my daughter isn't home right now. And so the ancestors are arriving. Shit like that still startles me. I've been doing this for 10, 11 years and still. So let me gather myself because it really took me out of my headspace. Okay, so wherever I was going, I'm being told to wrap it up. That's not what they're here for today. I was using my psychic ability and foresight to hide from the actual mission and purpose of today, and they're checking me on it. Because I'm so comfortable giving you guys the next energy, giving you guys the flow, giving you guys the actual navigation. And today isn't about that. Today is an introduction to me. And I am not the most vulnerable person. I am not the most open. I kind of let my work speak for itself. I'm more, and I'm like what the military calls in the rear with the gear. You know what I'm saying? And I like it back here. I like it in my lonesome. I like it with my few select interactions and curated experiences. But Spirit has put me in charge of liberating Black women's soul this year. And being obedient to the path, the mission, look, y'all not gonna get me to cry. Y'all not gonna get me to cry. Being obedient to the message and the mission, I stand before you as an introduction to myself, because in October, we're gonna hit the floor running. Okay, so I will be coming out in the near future. I will be coming bi-weekly every 2 weeks to give you the next step. We're going on a year-long journey of soul liberation, where we can have that soul spark, that intersection of our humanity and our divinity. That moment or that presence of joy, that lifeline of just pure joy and happiness. And that looks different for everybody, so I'm not even going to quantify, because that's not quantifiable. Peace is not quantifiable. Rest is not quantifiable. All the things in which your soul craves, intimacy, love, connection, is not quantifiable. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for, I want to make 6 figures and $1 million and all of that, this isn't the journey for you. I am not saying that you don't or won't get those things, because with your authenticity comes your abundance and your prosperity. So I'm not saying that you're not going to get those things. What I am saying is that that is not going to be the focus navigating here. And I am going to attempt to maintain some eye contact, but I will say that I'm going to try, because I'm channeling. This is all divinity. So I may look down just to hear the message more clearly. So with that, I am going to introduce myself. Who am I? At one point in my life, I would have said I'm an Army veteran that is a senior strategic analyst within the military intelligence community, with tours to Iraq. I would have told you that I am a wife to a wonderful husband, and I would have told you that I am a mom. I might have told you that I have graduated magna summa cum laude, was from my undergrad and my graduate degree. I have a master's in cybersecurity. I would have told you I drove a Jaguar. I would have told you that I bought a house at 27. I would have told you all these things where on the surface it seemed as if that's the life, something that, I call it cocktail worthy achievement and success. The things that I can, brag about, my salary, my home, the car I drove. But that, if you ask me that question today, that I wouldn't say that. I would say I'm a diviner of my own being. I would say that I'm a spiritual leader. I would say that I am an amplifier. I would say that I am a peace giver. I would say all these things because those are the things that I want to give the world. Those are the things that I was put here to show up in. But those are things that I've been also denying myself because of the life that I built, success around it. And again, this is divine. I'm going back and forth, so I apologize if it seems, but like I said, we're having conversations. This is not a production. You are watching Divinity in real time, in real time as I record it. It took me a while to figure that out. And I would like to say that I figured that out because I had this joyful awakening one day, and I just realized that I just had to do my life different, and I did. Because that's not how that happened. When my daughter came, I was, again, a hustler, right? I worked nights, I worked 12-hour shifts, I would work weekends, I would do all of this in an effort to build my name, build my legacy, build my success. And then my daughter came, and something clicked, something switched. So I went from honoring my South Node in Capricorn to wanting to honor my North Node in Cancer. So I went from hustle, make money to I want to nurture this. I want my family. I want to spend time. I want to, do things like that. And the life that I had built didn't support that. I think at one point I was outside of my home 13 hours a day. So I would get home enough to feed my daughter, give her a bath, put everybody to sleep, and literally go to sleep to be able to wake up and do it all again. And then it became, what is all of it for if I'm not able to actually be present in it? The home that I purchased, I wasn't present in. The car that I was paying money for only got me to and from work because that's the only places that I had time and schedule, or, it was all logistical, was no pleasure. My life was just all logistics and no pleasure. But on paper, I was the epitome of what you should aspire to. And I had all that at 27. Married, 6-figure salary, baby, homeowner, luxury vehicle. Like, I had all that at 27. By 27, I had all that. And then at 32, life came crashing down on me. And that was the day I affirmed what I really desire for myself. I remember it vividly. It was October 4th, 2014. Please bear with me. And I went to a business conference because I was always looking for a way out. But in my mind, I said a way out, but it was always just another hustle. It was just more money to be made, right? So I went to a business conference that day, and I stood up and said, this is what I want for my life. This is what I affirm. Because they said, say it with your chest. And I was like, I want to be home with my daughter. I want to be able to go to field trips. I want to be able to take her to and from school. I want to be able to help with homework. I want to be able to work on my business. I want to be like, that's the life that I want to live. And then we went to lunch. When we got back from lunch, I started feeling ill. And I'm like, maybe I'm getting a bout of the flu. It literally came out of nowhere. So I was like, maybe I'm getting a bout of the flu. And I drove to my mom's house. And I picked up my daughter. And I told my mom, hey, Mom, I'm not feeling well. I'm going to go straight home. And I'm going to get in the bed. And I'm going to call you when I get home. And I'm choking up because this is, God places things on your heart for a reason. And your obedience and your follow through means that when the moments come when you need those resources, when you need that knowledge, you will have it. And so I had started my spiritual journey like almost a year before that. And so I had learned to talk to my ancestors. And the whole room is shaking. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pull it back in, right? Cause the whole, for a year, I was learning to talk to my ancestors. And so I'm driving home. It's a 45-minute drive. I'm driving home. I got about 25 minutes left. And my grandmother came to me and told me, you need to pull over. I was not strong in my abilities then. I still had a lot of insecurities when it came to what I heard. And so I retorted, I only got 25 minutes left, Grandma. I'm good. I'm going to get in the bed as soon as I get home. And she told me, if I don't pull over to the nearest urgent care, I'm going to regret it. So I listen, because whenever they're insistent, I listen. So I pulled into the nearest urgent care, and I have Jay was about 3-4-year-old in tow. Called my husband and said, it's urgent care. I don't know how long I'm going to be here, babe. Can you come get Jay? And so he said yes. And by the time he got there, I was being wheeled out on a stretcher. I had started having seizures. I remember being on the exam room table looking up, talking to my grandmother, and she's telling me that everything's going to be okay. Like, you're good. Everything's going to be okay. And then she goes, just hold on. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she goes, just hold on. And I remember telling the nurses, like, I can't stop it from coming. And they were like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I can't stop it from coming. And then just seizures. And I remember being wheeled past my husband while they looked at me being loaded to the back of an ambulance. And I thought to myself that this could not be my last fucking day here. Like, this can't be it. Like, my tears isn't none of my illness anymore. I've come to peace with that. My tears were because, like, the possibility of dying with that dream still inside me, with that passion still inside me, with that purpose still inside me. I was about to die unhappy. And so I bargained with God, like we all do in those moments. And I told him that if he sees me through this, I will do it different. That I would devote myself to joy and my purpose, that I would stop diluting myself, and that I would follow my heart's call and my soul call. And at that moment, I did not know what it was. I just know I wanted to be home with my baby. I did not know what that soul call was. And I'm going to tell you, it wasn't until recently that it is solidified in my spirit what it is. So that is 9 years. So 9 years of transformation. And I'm not going to tell you I didn't falter. I am not going to tell you that. I would be lying. My first year, I attacked it like any veteran would, any Army veteran would. I was like, no, we're going to fucking beat this. Fuck that. We don't even know what it is, but I bet you I'm going to fucking beat it. And I did. I tried my hardest. Cause I was gonna get better. In my mind, I was going to get better. I was going to go back again after bargaining with God, right? I was going to go, in my mind, I'm going to get better and I'm going to go back to just a better version of what I was. But that's not what I told God. That is not what I told God. So for 6-8 months, I gave everything I got to getting better. I couldn't walk. I would go mute. I was having Parkinson tremors. But everything in me says, no, we're going to fight this. We're not going to let the devil take our joy and what we worked hard for. It isn't until hindsight that I know that was not the devil. That was God giving me my way out that I couldn't see, that I called and I reckoned with him for. He says, here you go. I am trembling. I'm sorry. He says, baby, here you go. And I denied that gift for a year. I went back to work after 8 months. I'm trying to calm my energy because I'm not trying to have no seizure here, right? But I went back to work after 8 months with a cane because I got back on my feet. I could walk now. It didn't matter that I had to say left, right in my head the whole time, but I could walk now. So I'm going to go back to work. And then back to work I went. I was having seizures at my desk. This is how we do. We ask God for some shit, and then it shows up, and we fight it. But 4th of July, 2015, God paused me. God hit pause. I suffered full body paralysis for a full minute, where it was nothing but my thoughts and God. I couldn't move. I couldn't blink. And just tears was just running down because my muscles, nothing would move. And in that moment, I said, okay, God, I hear you. I didn't know the next step. I just knew that I couldn't do what I was doing. So I started my journey of self-actualization. I had the foundation, I had the money, I had all of that. And there was no joy in that for me because of the way it was built. Sorry. There was no joy in that for me. Probably because of the way it was built. Not probably because of the way it was built. Like I said, I was scheduled down to 15-minute increments. Was no way of deviation. And I really thought I was not stressed. Because in my mind, as long as everything goes as planned, I'm good. Right? So I started 9 years. In those 9 years, I lost a lot. Things shifted a lot. I fought for my health. I fought for my marriage. I fought for my mental health. I fought for my daughter's mental health. I fought for my home. I fought for my ability to drive. I fought for my existence for years. My years. I won't say that they were all bad. They were not. I did a lot of growing in that time. I did a lot of honoring. There were joyous moments in that time. But behind the scenes was just battle after battle after battle after battle as I deconstructed my life. Everything around me crumbled. And I was struggling to hold myself together. So it took a while because I had to patch this up and then go over there and patch that up. And then come back over here and patch this up and go back over there and patch that up. And also learn to be something I ain't never been before. I've always had a job. I've been working ever since I was 13. And like I said, I could barely walk and talk. So like my intelligence was almost nothing. It felt like. So that magna summa cum laude meant nothing. The house meant nothing. At the end of the day, none of that shit meant nothing. None of it is what I pleaded with God for. I didn't plead with God, please get me through this so I could go back to work. No, I didn't. None of that shit, the house, none of that shit was on the bargaining board. That moment when I thought that it was the end. Because none of that shit matters. And I know I keep saying it, and I know it feels like a cliche and that I'm patronizing you. But as someone that has been to the light, I will tell you that none of that shit is what I bargained with God for when I asked for resurrection and healing. None of it. So then after that moment, it's just like, okay, then what did you ask God for in those moments? And I'm so shaking, people, because I'm going to stop apologizing. So I'm going to stop apologizing. I understand. I've been in this industry for 11 years. And I could tell you people who have known me for all of those 11 years probably didn't know the story that I'm sharing right now because, Virgos are infamous for, telling you what we want you to know. And that only. I went through a period in my life that I thought I would die at home by myself. Because, life goes on, right? My husband had to go to work. The baby had to go to daycare and school, right? Life goes on. I would lay in my bed all day, afraid, with sheer anxiety that I'm going to die by myself in my bed. And it'd be hours before anybody would notice. That's a dark time. But in that stillness, I found me. Once I stopped panicking, once I stopped the anxiety, once I stopped the lamentation over not being able to do what I once did, and I'm not going to tell you that went away, because it didn't. It's still here. I still have some some little resentment. But I found myself and I started making apologies to me. And after I made apologies to me, I started making apologies to other people. I was never anybody that went around terrorizing people. So there's very few people I had to make apologies for, or to. But I made those apologies, even not understanding the next step. And so for 9 years, I just started rediscovering who I am, because we're going to bring it back. And I'm going to tell you, I am getting to know her. I'm getting to know her. And we're going to have a journey, and I'm going to go on a journey because I want to get to know this version of me. I knew all the other versions of me, and they were all variations of the older version of myself. I might have stripped down a couple of things. I might have tweaked something or spiced it up, but I was still holding on to the version of myself that I knew myself to be ever since I've had full autonomy at 18. I had to mourn the loss of motherhood, that version of her. I had to mourn the loss of being a wife, that version of wife that I was. I had to mourn the loss of my personal ego, of not working traditionally and not showing up traditionally, or not showing up in what I used to, even though I know what I used to do was dysfunctional. We know it to be, it's not rational. It's instinctual. And so a lot of us are moving by instinct without stopping and asking, is this how I really want to react or navigate, or am I navigating this way out of just pure, not without intention, is what I want to say, without intention. Most of us don't lead very intentional lives.
Right.
Most of us probably don't have or don't feel like we had the capability to do so, in the environment to do so. I'm recognizing that stopping to heal can be a privilege. Because when you're struggling to survive, stopping to heal can feel like death. But I will say that when it's time, you gotta listen. Because when I let you bear witness to what it looks like to not listen, I heard that call as soon as my daughter was born. And it was almost 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. To the day that it took me to move on it. For 5 years, I was just pussyfooting around, talking about my desire to raise my daughter. I don't want to live like this, and I want to be home with my daughter. I didn't know how, though. So It was just a lot of mouth service. My daughter's 5th birthday, I want to say. Yeah, 2014. Yeah. My daughter's 5th birthday. That's when my legs gave out on me. Because guess what? Tania had went back to work initially. You know, like, if I ain't shit, I'm resilient. Like, if I ain't shit else, I'm resilient. And I'm not even going to tell you all the other times that I've faced my mortality, that it was just like, oh, okay, sarah, another day, another dollar. You know what I'm saying? I was a lot younger in those days. But at 32, with being a mom, it hit different. So God said, if you ain't gonna do it, move. I got it. And he literally took my legs out from underneath of me. Sit fucking still. And so if you are getting the message from God right now to sit your ass still, that is a warning. That is a warning. Your soul is giving you, flashing that warning signal. Your soul is turning on that check engine light and the fluid lights. All the fucking blinkers are going the fuck off at that moment. You can't just turn the car off, rest for a couple of days, and think it's all gravy. A vacation ain't a cure what's happening to you right now. You gonna keep riding and that engine gonna lock up on that ass? Cause you ain't shit without your soul. And if your soul is saying, I am tired, I can't do it anymore, I don't know how I'm gonna go on, and you're like, shut the fuck up, we got money to make, we got shit, we got movies to make, we got this to make, that soul is gonna be like, bet, and it's gonna bail. It's gonna fucking bail. And you're gonna have the heart attacks, you're gonna have the strokes, you're gonna have the aneurysms, you're gonna have all this because all your fucking sensors are going the fuck off because your internal frequency and energy and beinghood is being threatened, and your body will self-preserve. So it's going to make you sit the fuck down to heal. Your soul is saying, heal me. Not the superficial kumbaya Instagram worthy shit. We're talking about on your knees, crying, guttural, about the pain that people put you through, or how you just want to release it from your frequency and your being. Talking about that shit that you ain't gonna share with nobody. Your 100% truth, your ultimate vulnerability. This ain't gonna be no Instagram share worthy, YouTube. Don't do that. Don't bastardize your healing process. Please do not do that. Tag me in your victories along the way. Tag me in your celebrations along the way. Tag me in you showing up and you along the way, but please don't bastardize your healing. Do not put your healing on display for others. This is a sacred, sacred journey. That's why you ain't been seeing my shit, right? It ain't cause, I don't want to share. I'll share really vulnerable shit that people probably wouldn't share, but I don't give a fuck about because my Scorpio moon, I don't really, some shit just ain't taboo to me. It's just like whatever. So I share a lot, but I couldn't share that because on your journey to yourself, you don't need anybody else's fucking opinion. And once we share, we open ourselves up to those opinions. And we don't need to do that. So that is your introduction to who Ty is and why Ty is. And like I said, I am here to give you the journey to full soul expression, that soul spark.